Slendrina the Forest. Something very horrid and scary about this game is that you are never free from danger. Slendrina's mom could be one way, but Slendrina herself could be in another. The objective of the game is that you are required to find 7 keys to open a coffin and survive from Slendrina and her mother. The problem is that Leave, Slendrina's husband, has gotten hit in the head with a mallet by none other than Slendrina's mom. So now he's locked in a coffin, or so it may seem. That is why that Slendrina is not that persistent, and is also why Slendrina's mother is now more aggressive than ever, attacking with both hands. God, I love this game. I'm sure that every Slendrina fan, or DVloper fan for that matter, expected Slendrina the Asylum to be on this list. Yes. Maybe not at 4, but yeah. The thing is, this game is very underestimated. I mean, the map is complex, which I appreciate. This is when Slendrina's mom first was introduced as an antagonist to kill you instead of just scaring you in the house of Slendrina. It's also the map where Slendrina met her husband, Leave, and where Slendrina conceived a child, which would later begin to grow into some weird-ass spider baby. But, he's adorable, I guess. Sorry. But this game is very underestimated, as I said. When people think of Slendrina, they think of, like, Slendrina, the Cellar 2, the Forest, which was recently mentioned on this list. But it's very scary, actually, because it's the unpredictable that really gets you. When you can't predict something in this game, that's what really strikes you to the core, and that's what drives you to go to desperate measures to succeed and find all 8 pages and exit the map. You also have a health meter, so that shows you when your health is going to run out. So that's pretty scary, I think, because, you know, when your health is low, you acknowledge the fact that death is right on the door, knocking on the door. You can also troll Slendrina's mom into walking her in circles. That's pretty funny, I guess. But do what you want to do in this game. I prefer to win, but you do you. That sucked. I'm sure all of you expected Slendrina the Cellar to be on this list. As the most popular and first out of all the Slendrina games, it is the one that created all of DVloper's success. It is the beginning to the Slendrina saga, as well as the beginning to a new era for DVloper. And this game is scary. It's many types of jump scares, Slendrina cracking her neck, flying around, crawling, being right behind you, and the jump scare is just skin crawling. But nevertheless, this game is something to truly fear, and one of his best produced. Yeah, so. My absolute favorite game in the franchise so far, Granny Chapter 2, takes the second best. The only reason why it's my favorite game and I'm putting it as second best is because we all know who number 1 is. But I'm going to keep it a secret until number 1. Granny Chapter 2 introduced Grandpa, the father to Slendrina's mom, Angelini, the stepfather to Slenderman, the grandfather to Slendrina, the great-grandfather to Slendrina's baby, and the spouse to Granny herself. Now, Grandpa can't hear very well, and his eyesight is not as poor as his hearing. But he hits hard. He hits very hard. Granny doesn't hit as hard as Grandpa, but she hears everything. If you drop a piece of a painting on the floor, she will hear it. She will hear pretty much anything. Granny's like a beast, and Grandpa's like even beastier. And I can't wait for the Grandpa plush to come out, if that ever does become a thing. And now, surprising no one, at number 1 we have Granny. Granny is the best game that DVloper has ever or will ever create. And when Granny and Granny Chapter 2, or potentially Slendrina, the seller, 1% maybe the other Slendrina games, but when Granny and Granny Chapter 2 or any future Granny games come out on console, then I can finally play to my heart, because that's what I'm best at. So Granny is on PC as well. It's on Steam, along with Granny Chapter 2. And I can't decide which is my favorite. I recently said Granny Chapter 2 is my favorite. Sometimes Granny's my favorite. You know, I love both of these games. But out of DVloper's games, Granny is the one that made it all popular. So, that's number 1. Thanks for watching.